Hi there, I'm Kathy Barker from Software Solutions. You've been given Microsoft Teams and you've been told that you need to use Microsoft Teams, but you're really not too sure exactly how it works. And so that's what I want to work with you on. The first thing is a team is a group of people that are brought together to get something big done. Sometimes it's a big group of people, in fact it's the entire organisation, and we often refer to that as a mega team. But sometimes we have smaller teams, more traditional teams such as finance, marketing, things like that. But then there's teams that come together just because they have something in common like a hobby. So you can have hobby teams within an organisation. Perhaps there's a group of you who love playing board games, and so you'd have a board games team. But there are also teams that are made ad hoc that generally have a short or medium life term, and that is because of a particular project that started. Perhaps there's an event and people are pulled together from various parts of the organisation as a team to see that event managed, completed and tracked. So you can create ad hoc teams, you can create small teams, mega teams, teams that have traditional boundaries, all sorts of teams. Now in Microsoft Teams, you can see I've got a number of teams showing on the left-hand side here. And so to navigate between teams, you just simply click to expand them and click to collapse them. What if I wanted to create a team? Now I'm in the newest version of Teams that's available at the moment, and this little button here allows me to create a team. So I'll click this button. I can join an existing team or create my own team, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now when it comes to creating teams, you actually have a variety of templates provided by Microsoft Teams. So you could choose one of these if you were managing an event, if you were managing a project, or even if you're managing a store. Perhaps you're doing some quality and safety and you want to create a team to work on these particular communication and plant operations. Or you can create a team from scratch. And so I'm going to create one from scratch. There are 3 types of teams. They can be private, that only people that are given permission are able to access. Or they can be public, such as a hobby team, where anyone in the organisation can join that team if they're interested. Or it can be a mega team, an organisation-wide team where everybody in the organisation is automatically a member of that team. So this one, everyone's automatically a member. This one, you can join. And this one, you have to be invited. I'm just going to create a public team. Now I can give the team a title or a name. So I'm just going to say that this is an app development team. And it's actually a project. So I'm actually going to call it App Project Team. So let me describe what this is. This is a project where we will be developing an app as a team of specialists. And I'll click Create. Now I have the option to add the members of that team, or I could skip if I want to do that later. But let's say I grab some of my Software Solutions PCs and add them, which are actually people, but these are their names: SSPC 5, SSPC 6, SSPC 2, and let's go SSPC 8. So I choose the people just by typing their name or their email that I'd like them to become members. Now SSPC2 and I are quite close colleagues, so I want them to be more than a member. So I'm going to hit this drop down here. I'm going to make them an owner. I think it's good practice that a team has more than one owner. That way, if for whatever reason somebody is unavailable, somebody else is able to be called in who has the permissions and the powers of a team owner. So have 2 or more owners, and the rest are members. I can hit the X if I want to remove them, but I'm just going to click Add, and I'm going to add these 4 people as members of my team. Immediately at the bottom of my Teams panel, I can see my app project team. If I rest on it, it actually tells me that the app project team is a public team, not a private or an organisation-wide team. If I click app project, it collapses the team, and if I click it again, it expands it. I can see there's really only one channel called general at this stage, so that's all I'm seeing when I expand and collapse this team. I can drag this team and put it towards the top if it's one of my more important teams. So drag your teams up and down. Or if I've got a lot of teams and a lot of them are sort of hobbies and they're not really that important, I could click the More Options button and I could choose to hide the team. If I hide the team, they appear right at the bottom in a hidden group called Hidden Teams. And if I click this little chevron, I can expand it and I can see my hidden teams and collapse it. If at any point I decide I want to unhide that team, then I can expand Hidden Teams, hit my More Options button and say Show. That team will show again, and it happens to show in the position that it occupied originally before I hit it. So if you are a member of a variety of teams, you may take the option to actually hide some of your teams and make this a little bit less cluttered. Now, as the team manager, I may want to actually manage my team. So I'll go into here. I can see this team has 2 owners, and I can see that it has 3 members. If I suddenly realise I've forgotten somebody, SSPC7, I can add members and choose SSPC, and there's 7 just down there, and add. You can easily add members, you can easily delete members at any point in time, and you can also change their member role to owner. Other things that you can do, if I go back to the More Options button, is I may choose to go this way when it comes to adding a member. But I can also leave a team. If it is a team that is not of interest to me anymore, I can actually leave that team and no longer be a member. I can also delete a team if I'm an owner. If that project is complete and that team no longer needs to exist, I can delete it instead of hiding it. So you've got some team management options just in this More Options button here. Also, if you do have a lot of teams, you may want to use this button at the very top here called Filter. Maybe I want to filter out all the teams that have something to do with my management role. So I'm going to hit Filter and I'm going to type Management. And as soon as I type Manage, straight away I can see there are 2 teams with those 5 letters in their name. And so now I've filtered down to and can work with just the 2 teams I want to work with. If I click this X, I'll close the filter and I'll go back to seeing all the teams. Now, who you are depends on your account. And what you see in the top right corner is often a picture of yourself or maybe just your initials. I'm going to click the profile picture of myself and I can see my name, my profile picture, and I can change that or update it. I can also see my email and I can view my account if I wish. At the moment it's telling people that I'm available, but I can hit this little chevron here and say that actually I'm busy, or do not disturb, I'm working on something at the moment, or I'll be right back, I have to pop out, or appear that I'm away, or appear that I'm offline. Switch to other accounts if you have them, so I've got 2 other accounts here, and I'm a guest on some of these other organisations, and I can add more accounts as well. Now, besides seeing your status here, you also have what we call a search box up here. So if I wanted to say that I was available, I would just type /available or avay, and then I can choose it, and the green tick appears there. But if I put in the search box /DND, that means do not disturb, and you can see that written there. And suddenly, instead of a green tick, I've got sort of a red symbol here. If I click the search box again, type /away and press enter, then they've got a sort of an orange symbol. And so people will know that I'm away and there's really no point in trying to chat to me or have a conversation or even do an instant message with me. So what do the various options mean? Available means that you're not in a meeting, you're not in a conversation, you're at your desk and you're available to people to converse. Whereas busy means that you're working on something, you want to focus on something, and you do not want to be disturbed. So you will not have notifications pop up. Busy is what happens to your status automatically whenever you go into a meeting or a call. Do not disturb is when you're busy and you do not want notifications to pop up, especially when you're sharing your screen. And be right back, or BRB, is when you've temporarily left your desk, and this never gets set automatically. So be right back is something you definitely intentionally set as your status. Appear away is when you want to not reply or respond to something immediately. Appear offline is meaning that you will still receive notifications from people, but you want to appear like you're not online at all and they will not be receiving an immediate response from you. So decide which status is most appropriate for you. Some statuses like busy occur immediately when you go into a meeting or onto a call, and if you're not involved in anything, you tend to appear as available. And I really do like the fact that if you do click your profile picture and you do say that you're away, that you can actually set a duration. So you can say, look, I'm actually going to be busy or away or do not disturb for the entire day or just for an hour. And then you don't have to remember to change your status back. So I'm just going to go back. But also with regards to the status, I might say that I am available, but I might set my work location. Perhaps I'm not actually in the office, that I'm actually working remotely today. So actually letting people know your work location can be handy as well. And then there's the other thing, which is a status message. And that is if you do get a message pop up, and if I just bring this up, if you do get someone sending you a message, you can actually have an automatic reply here, a status message, and you can show this when people message you, and you can clear that status message after a certain amount of time. So that lets them know exactly that you're caught up at the moment and you're in a meeting with such and such. There's also a schedule out of office as well, so you can turn it on at a certain date and time and turn it off at a certain date and time. So the schedule message, the status message, they're very, very handy to let people know exactly what's going on with you. Now, when you create a team, you automatically get a channel called General, and we can see that here underneath our team name. General is a team channel that can't be deleted. It's a channel where you would put general announcements to the entire team and say perhaps who had joined the team, who had left the team, and any important announcements. But in addition to general, fun fact, you can potentially have up to 1,000 other channels. So let's add another channel in addition to general just by hitting the More Options button and Add Channel. And let's say that this channel was called Digital Assets Web. Now, when you create a channel, there's 3 types of channels. If you make a standard channel, then everybody in the team has access to that channel. But if you create a shared channel, that means people or teams inside your organization and even outside your organization can access that channel. And if you make it private, then only specifically chosen people have access to that channel. I want to make it just a standard channel that all my team members can access, and I also want to automatically show this channel in their channel list. So I'll go create. So I'm just going to make some more channels. I'm going to click on my More Options, Add Channel. The next channel is simply called Design, and I'm going to make this a standard, make it appear on everybody's list, create. Then I'll add another channel, Add Channel. This one's going to be called Go to Market Plan. Again, it's going to be standard, show in the list, create. Add a channel, Research and Development. Right click that, fix the spelling, not quite what I was looking for. And that's standard as well. And show in the list and create. Now what I'd like to do is make another channel, but this channel I want it to be private. I want it to be a channel that only the team leaders can actually get access to. So let's add a channel, call it Team Leaders, and choose the channel type private. When I go create, it then asks me who are the members of this particular channel. So I'm going to say SSPC 2 and SSPC 5. I'm going to make them both owners of this channel. So basically the three of us can communicate, share files, post information, share apps in this particular channel. Add. Now you'll notice with a private channel, it has this little padlock here. And when I rest on it, it says this channel is private. Whereas if I rest on research and development, it says it's a standard type of channel. So just like in an earlier video when we rested on the team and it told us it was a public team, when we rest on a channel, it tells us the type of channel. Now channels are organized alphabetically. General is always at the top. You can't rearrange these. They're alphabetically listed below general. General can't be deleted. These other channels can be deleted if they're no longer required. They can be deleted, they can be edited, and they can be managed. You can even get an email address to a particular channel if you want to email every member who's part of that channel, and not necessarily the whole team. Now some channels are really popular, and so what we like to do is we like to pin them. Let's say, for example, in this particular team, I have a lot to do with the P4W development. So I'm going to hit more options and I'm going to pin this channel and it appears at the top. And I'll close that team. But if I open up the app project team and I have a lot to do with R&D, I can choose the more options button and I can pin research and development. And so it's a really quick way that you can gain access to channels that you work a lot in, pin them to the top. And just as easily you can hit the little dots and you can say that you want to unpin. But I'm going to leave them at the top. As far as navigating backwards and forwards to places you've been in Teams, I just want to highlight these two buttons. If I click this button or even rest on this button, I'm able to see the places I've been and I can go back to a particular place really quickly. If I click this button to the right, I'm able to return and go forward to a place I'd like to be. So I can go back to the design channel within that team, for example. And so I'm in the design channel. So these are a way that you can move forward and backwards that might be helpful. If my team has a lot of channels and some of those channels are really irrelevant to me as well, I do have the option to hide a channel in the same way as I could hide a team. If I hide a channel, it disappears from my list, but I am actually able to see it if I go to the option See All Channels. If I go to the option See All Channels, then I'm able to see my hidden channels and my shown channels. And if I show that channel, then I can see them all again. If I go back, I'm back to my app project team. The other thing that's important, I think, is to customize and control the amount of notifications you get regarding certain channels. I said that research and development was a channel that I had a lot to do with, so I'm going to go into the more options and into its channel notifications. At the moment, if there are any posts to the research and development channel, I am not being notified. I do want to be notified and I have to choose in which way. If I choose only show in the feed, then any notifications that I get regarding that channel will only show in the activity button that you see on the left-hand side here. But if I ask for a banner and a feed, then I will get a desktop notification that there has been a post made to that particular channel, and it will also appear in activity, which means feed. If I want to also be notified about any replies to any posts in that channel, I tick this option here. So any mentions of me, I want to see a notification and I want to see a mention in my activity feed. And any posts or replies, I want to see a notification and a mention in my activity feed. So I'll go save. So go through your channels, look at your channel notifications and customize them to suit you. Now each channel has tabs at the top. Let's go to my research and development, for example. In my research and development channel at the top, I have 3 tabs. Here is my posts tab. My posts tab is if I want to put out a conversation or start a conversation with every member of that channel. And so I can click this here, I can make a comment. This is its subject line. Welcome to Research and Development. My name is Kathy and I am your team leader. And I look forward to working with you. And I can post. So a post can be added to a channel. It has a subject, which I think is a great way of organising your posts, and it has a message, and people can reply to it, or they can even do a reaction to it. Think of a post as really one big chat, group chat to that particular channel. Now, files are any files that I want to share with the members of that channel. Files can be new, and I can create them with Word Online, Excel Online, PowerPoint, OneNote, Forms, Visio, and any other application I'd like to add. I can also upload files or folders, and I can view the information in different ways. I can share it with particular people, though all members of this channel will have access to all files. I can even download a file. I might decide to upload some files. I'm just going to grab a couple of files and open, and I'll upload those to my team. Here it says it's uploading 2 items, and eventually those 2 files will appear. Having uploaded some files, I may want to hide the teams and just focus on my files. The Files tab at the top has a drop down and you can expand the tab. If you expand the tab, then your focus is fully on the files that belong to that channel. If I then go to the right hand side, I can choose to collapse the tab and I go back to seeing my teams and my channels on the left hand side. If I have an attachment in an Outlook email, I can actually bring up that Outlook email, maybe just shrink it a little bit, and I can actually drag that attachment and drop it into my files in Teams. And there's the attachment now showing in my Teams. So simply drag an attachment from an Outlook message and drop it into your Files tab in your channel. If you want to share files with people, one way is simply to select the file and copy a link to that file. You can then decide if the person can view, or you can go into settings and decide if they're able to actually edit the document, view the document, and if they can edit it, who can edit it, and if they can view it, you can also say that you want to block the downloading of the document, that they're really only supposed to view the document. If I apply that, I can then copy that link, which I've done, go to a new email, and I could paste that particular link into an email. When the person clicks that link, they'll be able to open up that file, they'll be able to view it, but they won't be able to edit it and they won't be able to download it. So sharing a file is possible by using copy link, and that link can be in an email, it can be in a Word document, it could be on a website. You can put that link in a variety of places. But another way to share a file is simply to attach it to a post. So if I go back to my posts for this particular channel and I start a post, I'll put R&D month invoice. Please find attached for your reference. And here is a little paper clip, which if I click it, I can attach a cloud file, browse my team, or even upload it. I'm going to browse the teams because I've already put it in my team files. I'm going to choose this particular file and I'll attach. And so it's attached that file there, and then I can post. People then can reply if necessary and question that particular invoice, or they could react to it maybe with a thumbs up if they're okay with it. So there's a couple of ways that you can share files in Teams. In fact, if I go back to files, say I want to share this proposal, I'll just hit the circle in the front to select it. There is this option here as well to share the selected item. So I'll click the share item. I then have the option to choose a person or a group or an email. Let me just choose a particular email. I then have the option here to say whether they can edit it, view it, or just suggest changes. So let's say they can review it. I can then go into this option here and decide again what they can do, whether they can download it, people who have access, and so on. I can then type a message. Could you please review this proposal? And then I could send. And it'll send a link in an email to that particular person. So that's another way that you can share a document, as well as going into here and choosing share or copy link, or as well as going to this option here and sharing. There's a variety of ways you can share. And then to unselect the file, I can hit this tick here or just hit the X because I don't want to have a file selected. At any point in time, I can select a file, go into these options, these actions, and I can manage the access. And if I go into manage access, I can stop sharing that file with whoever I have shared it with and stop sharing. And so now any links to that file will no longer work. Now to the right of files, we have a third tab called Notes. And what Notes does is it triggers the application Microsoft OneNote. So I'm going to click this. A new notebook will be created for the research and development channel where people will be able to keep notes on everything and anything. OneNote allows you to insert text, file attachments of any type, links, audio, video, all sorts of information can be kept. So maybe we have a research and development meeting coming up. So I'm going to put meeting minutes. And in here, I'm able to say who the attendees were. And so I might decide to use a tag. And so I'll put Kathy, John, Carol, Matt, and I'll be able to tick who was able to make it to the meeting. And I'll just do, this is in a container. You'll eventually see a container that you can move, so you can position it anywhere on the page. I might add above Kathy that these were, backspace, attendees, and make that bold. So you can do things like that. You can actually add text anywhere. So here I might put apologies, and then I'll put Sam, Adam, Pete, and these three here, I'll turn them into tags. And so those were the people that sent apologies. Maybe Peter didn't. Make that bold, and then I can move it as well and put it where I like. It's a notebook that on this side here, you can show navigation. There's one page, so I might now add another page, which is the agenda for the November meeting. You can have as many pages as you like. I can stretch this. So that's one page, that's another page, and both of those pages are in this particular section. But I could add another section, which is background notes, and okay. Within the background notes, I can have another page, which is October notes. And again, I can put as much as I like. And if I go back to navigation, I've got 1, 2 sections. This second section has 1 page. This first section has 2 pages, and I can put what I like. I might decide to insert, and I can insert files. So I can make an attachment, file attachment, and I can choose any files that I want to make an attachment to. It will upload it and create a link, or I can insert it as an attachment so it physically resides. So I'm going to actually insert it as an attachment. There it is there. Now all the members of this channel can get access to that file. I can also insert links, and also I can insert audio notes and a lot more. Please check out my Microsoft OneNote videos or playlist for more details about the sorts of things that you can do in notes. It includes things like being able to do stylus and being able to do drawings using a stylus pen and being able to insert all sorts of information. But notes is Microsoft OneNote. Any of these tabs, such as notes, for example, you can expand that tab and totally focus in on the notes. Or again, you can collapse that tab and again be able to move freely between your teams and your channels. You can also, in the case of notes, you could actually remove because you don't want that particular channel to have a OneNote tab. So I can remove that channel, that tab from that channel, and remove. So now this channel no longer has a notes. If I want to add a tab, I hit the plus and I can simply choose what type of application I would like to add a tab to. Let's say I say see all, and let's say I want to see a particular PDF file. And I want to create a tab to my files that are associated with this particular team, app project. And I'm going to go into research and development, and I'm going to go to this particular file here, and I'll save. So I've created a tab to that particular file, which makes it a lot easier for me to just work between files. Let's say I want to create a tab for the proposal. Let's go add. Proposal is a Word document, so I'll go see all. I'll choose the application Word. I'll then say that I want to go into my app project team and my particular research and development channel, and I want to see the proposal and save. And so now I have a tab where I can view the proposal, view the PDF at the top here. Let's say I want to add another tab at the top here so I can easily jump to the other Word document, which is also in my app project team, in my research and development files, called newsletter draft, and I'll save that. So now I can jump between the newsletter draft, the proposal, the PDF file, and all of these tabs that we have at the top. Again, I can hit this drop down here and expand it if I really want to focus in on that particular document. And I can also collapse it to go back. I could also go into here and remove it, and I can also rename it if I needed to call it something more meaningful. It's nice and easy to be able to jump between tabs. I can hit the plus, and there's a variety of applications from Word to PDF to OneNote to SharePoint to Power BI, lots of applications that you can add as tabs across the top. And we'll look at a few of these as we progress.